What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode number 54 of Project Xtalk, an Xbox podcast. Remember, if you like Xbox or games in general, make sure to join us live every Thursday here on YouTube. If you can't catch us live, we post every Friday morning on your favorite podcast service. If you could, please drop us a rating, share, subscribe over on whatever service you use. Apple Podcasts seems to be the majority of our listeners, so why don't you head on over and drop us a 5-star review if you like the show. As I said last week, if you drop a 5-star review, you could get your review read right here on the show, like we had two people do this week. JR Flat said, if you're into Xbox, this is the podcast for you. Great content and great discussion all around. And JW Gertie said, this is a podcast that takes Xbox seriously. If you're reading this, you probably do too. Lots of insights and commentary that speaks to the gaming crowd. So thank you guys for listening, checking out the show, and leaving us reviews. If you want to hear your name read, go over and drop us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. But enough about that. I'm your host, Kevin, aka the Muffin Man. And this week I'm joined by Tom and Aman for a little bit. He's got a peace out, but he's here for now. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing good. Excited for what happened in the last couple of days and to talk about it. Yeah.
A lot has happened.
A lot,
yeah. Some would say a little too much for one podcast, personally. But before we get into the news, guys, as we do every week here on Project Xtalk, we're going to go around and start each and every episode by asking one question. That question is, what you playing? So, Aman, I want to get you in here before you go. What you been playing?
Okay, so I've pretty much been playing the same things I've played last week. Back 4 Blood, amazing, still having fun with it. But then I just picked up a new game last night called Hitman 3. And goddamn, that game sucks.
What?
I absolutely hated that game. It was terrible. It felt like an indie game. I thought like IO Interactive was supposed to be a AAA studio. It felt like a AA indie game. I absolutely hated it. I think it's just the genre of the game which I didn't like. So yeah, I played like for the first 20 minutes and I dropped it. That's how bad that game was. I've also been playing something else.
Hold on before you get
8 Village.
Oh,
I think that game.
Before you get...
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, before you get into that, Hitman, I agree with you, actually, for once. I tried Hitman 2 on PS Plus, and you can, like, put it into Hitman 3, and I do not enjoy Hitman. I understand why people like them, the sandbox, multiple different ways to, like, get in. It's so boring to me. Like, I love the stealth and, like, Splinter Cell.
It is the most boring thing ever, like. Yeah, I don't see how people have fun doing that.
All right, so Dirt Griggity says Hitman 3 sucks. How dare you, sir? I'm with Dirt. Like, Hitman 3 is such a great game. I feel like, it's a specific kind of game where you have to, like, if you like narrative focused games, this is not the game for you. There's a cutscene in the beginning of the mission and a cutscene at the end. That's it. Most of the fun in this game, you go out there and experiment what works, and that's what I find extremely fun.
But that experimenting takes like hours.
No, it doesn't. Like I got my first kill within the first 20 minutes, and then I went back and repeated the mission, killed them in another way, and I mean it's just fun to be had.
Coming up with these ways to kill people, I know it could be fun, but I don't know.
No. I'm with you. Really. I wouldn't say the game sucks. Like, I just didn't enjoy my time with it. Like I said, I completely understand why people like the game.
Yeah.
It's not for me. It's not the type of game I want to play. And that's a shame because I enjoyed Sniper Ghost Warrior. Like, that's a similar thing. Like, you can do that stealth, you can do it guns blazing. It's a big open sandbox. But for me, that was like more enjoyable than Hitman. And I can't put my finger on why something didn't click with me in Hitman. I wanted to like it because it does get praised. And like I said, I completely understand why people like it. Just didn't do it for me. I didn't give it the old 20 minutes like I'm on here. I gave it the old college try and put a few hours into Hitman 2, beat a few missions, and I was like, I'm over this.
Yeah, it does feel like an indie game. Just feels so rigid. I don't know. Like coming up with different ways to kill a person. I got frustrated in like the first 20 minutes and I quit playing it. I couldn't believe I wasted like around 40 pounds on that shit.
Wow. Okay. All right, Aman. You've been playing Resident Evil 8 as well, you said.
Oh yeah, so I've also been playing Resident Evil 8. Yeah, like how you guys did for the extra last week, the Halloween games. If I were to say one, this would probably be one of the best Halloween games I've ever played. It's not really a Halloween game, but yeah, that horror themed game. It's probably one of the best Resident Evil games I've ever played. I think I prefer first person Resident Evil games to third person. So I'm part of that group, and yeah, I thought the game was really enjoyable. The narrative, the story, and the plot in general is kind of good. The gameplay is really good. The horror elements are perfect. I think this is the best they have ever been in any Resident Evil game. I think Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 8 are my top two like Resident Evil games. So yeah, I've only put in about a few hours in. I started playing it right after I dropped Hitman. So yeah, I'm enjoying the game so far. Probably have more to say next week.
Do you have buyer's remorse? Like, how do you play 20 minutes and drop 40 pounds? Are you gonna want to go get a refund, or
I would hit Microsoft up for a refund.
Oh yeah, I got a physical disc, so yeah, I'm probably gonna go for a refund.
Okay.
Hold up now. Now you're opening a whole nother can of worms. A physical disc. It's
I know.
21.
Who doesn't have physical games still?
It was such a good offer. It was like get 2 games for 60 pounds. And
so the majority of my games are digital, but I do have like physical games. Like up here, I have a bunch of games.
I usually buy digital as well, but then it was a really good offer, and I was just walking around the mall, and I'm like, oh, that's a good offer. I might as well pick it up.
I don't care how good the offer is. There's not a good enough offer in the world for me to buy a disc. I haven't owned a disc since 2013, and I ain't starting now. Tell you what.
2013. Wow. Damn. 2013.
I do. The only thing I buy physical is Switch, and that's because they keep their resale value. So I beat them, and then I sell them off for like basically the exact same price I bought it for, like maybe $10 cheaper. But that's because Switch holds their value. Other games do not hold value. So digital it is. Plus, then you got to get up and like eject the disc, put another one in. Like, oh my god, man.
So yeah, but like it's easier to install, except new games for some reason. Like these new games, you get the disc. It's 100 megabytes on a disc, and then you download the rest anyway. So it doesn't really matter this generation.
No,
really.
I remember I got COD 2019, the Modern Warfare one on disc, and that was still 130 gigs.
Yeah, because it's like 100 megabytes on a disc for whatever reason.
So it
probably just has the license and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'm usually in the digital camp. I do prefer getting my games digitally, but that offer was just too good to let go of.
I respect it.
I don't. But Tom, what you been playing, my guy?
I finally actually got to like delve into Back 4 Blood of co-op with my buddy. Pretty good game, honestly. We had a blast with it. We went through most of the first act. It was enjoyable. I liked being able to repeat the same missions, and then there's different guns that you get into different crates, so it adds extra replay value. I thought the game was going to be like a set in stone every single time. This is going to be the same exact thing, and just try to like optimize your run. But no, there's actually randomness in there, and that makes it so much better. So I can definitely see a high replay value on this one. Right now we were just playing duo with the bots. The bots, by the way, they do suck. I saw what you guys are talking about. These guys were just dying. Me and my buddy died. They were useless. They didn't come res us. They died, and I was like, okay, you're gonna let that ogre kill you? Okay, I guess so. It was just it's a really fun time though. But that ogre in what is it in is it a second or third mission of the first act?
I don't know, man. I fought so many ogres at this point.
It took us forever just to figure that out and how to get away from him, dude. Like this guy was just fucking us up every time. Like it was.
So now you see why this game was my game of the year.
No, I don't see that at all. I can see why it's a good game, but not game of the year game.
Okay,
You and me are
what's your
too
game of
far
the year so
apart.
far? What game has been better than Back for Blood?
Tales of
God.
Arise.
That is Tales of Arise. No, I can't say Tales of Arise. Game of the year this year.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's gonna be Halo. But
Yeah, but it's
from
Halo's
what from
not
what
out
I
yet,
from
and
what
it's
I've
technically
played,
next year. And Halo's technically
Diablo
next
2
year.
Resurrection currently.
Game doesn't even work, bro. What
It
you
doesn't
talking
work
about?
currently, which by the way, we're not talking about it on the news, but it's been down for days. I don't know if it's up
And
anymore,
that's your
but
game of
it
the
was
year?
down for like a couple days.
Psychonauts 2,
No, definitely not.
better. Amazing game. Ratchet and
Invincibility.
Clank.
If I played Ratchet and Clank, I would think that would probably be a good one, but I don't have a PS5.
Oh yeah, if I had a PS5, mine would probably be Ratchet and Clank as well. But
Besides Back for Blood, I mean, just the old usual Rocket League. I just hit Diamond 3. Working out. I don't know what the next rank after Diamond is, but I'm almost there. But then I have a bad streak of 10 games straight, and I just drop back down to Diamond 1 anyways. And I'm just like, oh fuck, that was hours wasted.
Mhm.
Besides that, I tried a little bit of Smite again on the console. Fun game. I do have the DLC that lets me get every single god. So every new god that releases, it's pretty good. I don't know if you guys are you guys into MOBAs at all, like League of Legends or.
I played Pokemon Unite.
Are we all right? So no good MOBA games.
Yo, Pokemon Unite's dope. I maintain that. It's a good game.
All right. But besides that, it's been really tame. Nothing new.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go on what I've been playing now. To round out this segment, I got the platinum on Sly Cooper 1. I've started Sly Cooper 2, and I have mixed feelings on it so far. They changed the entire formula from Sly Cooper 1. It's not like Sly Cooper 1, you drove to a level, and then you had like 7 different levels in that like one little hub world. Sly Cooper 2, you like start at a secret hideout, and then you can roam around the city freely. And then in there is kind of some small, I wouldn't even call them missions. They're not like they're not like levels. They're like parts of the map that you go to, but through a door. And you can like steal stuff and go sell it, and you get like equipment, and you can play as the other characters. I don't know. I'm not that far into it. I'm just like, they really changed their formula from Sly Cooper 1. I'm sure I'll still love it. And it looks like a very easy platinum, considering like most people, it says like 60% got this trophy. So I think I'm going to rack up another one there. But apart from that, and Nick All-Star Brawl, I've still been messing around with. I played some Super Smash Brothers because Sora's in Smash. I don't care about Kingdom Hearts. I don't think he even feels good to play. Like, did not enjoy my time when I was messing around with him. He's like Mewtwo, really floaty. I don't think his moves make much sense. Like, I'm not going to play Sora. I'm probably going to do Elite Smash and then drop him. But I've been playing a lot of Back for Blood, as everyone else has been here. And I got to say, guys, I know last week I was like, it's a good game, having a lot of fun with it. The more I play this game, the more I hate it. I want this game to be over. I am so done with this. Oh my, like me, my brother, my friend, sometimes our other friend, we are at the end of Act 3. So we have 2 missions in Act 3 and then the one in Act 4 to do. And it's just a slog. I don't understand, why is this game so hard on the easiest difficulty? This game is so difficult. Like, I can't. It's just annoying. It's like the amount of special ridden that spawn in the end of Act 3 is ridiculous. Like it's a whole hallway just full of special ridden that you have to somehow get by. You got no ammo. The ammo's so scarce in this game, and the cards are useless. The cards fucking suck. I was gonna go try a whole episode without swearing, and I just got too heated. So apologies, but yeah, they suck. The cards are useless. I don't understand how people are playing this on harder difficulties. I cannot wait to beat this campaign and then promptly uninstall this game and probably never play it again. Like, so I'm the complete opposite of you with replay value in this title.
See, me and my buddy, we were playing it
Wow.
on hard, and we almost got through Act 1. I didn't think it was that bad. And I feel like the card system, once you actually figure it out, you're able to create special builds that actually really does help. I mean, maybe later on in the acts, I can see the issue. But if I'm playing it on hard now and you're having a hard time on easy, I don't know, dude.
So my friend, so listen, okay, I got a few points. Compared to the beta, this game is like they bumped up the difficulty 10 times. The beta was literally the most boring, easy thing in the world. And it's fine that they made it harder, but definitely needs balancing. If you look at the Reddit, I'm not the only one complaining about this. Like, this game is very unbalanced with the amount of special written that spawn. Act 1's not too bad. Act 1 got through pretty easy. Act 2 isn't so bad. Act 3 ramps up a lot. You get like ridden that explode. They leave toxic sludge everywhere. Like, not even the big guys, like the little tiny regular guys. They'll be on fire. So my friend who likes to melee, he built a deck for melee. Like, melee kills give him more health. They give him more stamina. Like, basically made a melee deck. And then you get thrown into the act and it's like, well, screw you. Everyone is covered in spikes and sludge and fire, and you're just going to die if you get anywhere near them. Like, it's nonsense. Why give you the option to play different ways if you can't actually play those ways?
I can see that being an issue. You went in there trying to go with a specific build in mind, and you can't even do it. Yeah, that's cheating. That's cheating. That's cheating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And like, I don't know. I don't know what the story of this game is. I'm so lost. I have no idea what's going on.
I've skipped every cutscene. No idea.
The cutscenes are pointless.
I've skipped every cutscene as well.
Listen, well, is it a bad game? No, it's fine. It's a good time sink right now. But like, once I beat this campaign, I don't think I'm gonna play it much more. We played some multiplayer. That was fun for a little bit. We lost like one game. That's good if you get like a little group together. But there's just like a meta to that where you pump all your points into the tall boys on your team, and then they go screw everyone up, and you and the other person just like hang in the back, provide support. It's a whole thing. But I'm done raging about Back 4 Blood. I'm gonna finish it, and we're gonna move on, and everything's gonna be peachy. Anything else to say before I move on into the news? All right. Well, you know what that means. It's segue time. So let's grab some books from the library and listen while I tell you this week's stories. Story number 1, DC Fandom recap. This past Saturday, we were treated to this year's DC Fandom. The event focusing on the properties of DC included a lot of exciting trailers for content focusing on the superheroes of DC across the mediums of movies, television, and video games. While some of the movie trailers were certainly amazing, and I will say that, as a self-proclaimed, hater of the DCEU.
Batman.
Yeah, Batman was so good. But relevant to this podcast were the trailers for Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and Gotham Knights. Both were story trailers. We're gonna go by these one by one. So we're gonna start with.
Can we just take a moment to admire the beauty of the Batman trailer? Like, let's just.
It was so good,
admire.
Dude.
It was so good.
We can't just gloss over that.
It was so good.
That was good.
Like
the Black
50
Adam
times
trailer
on
was
YouTube.
good. The Flash, the new outfit
All the movie
was
trailers
sick.
were good. All the movie trailers were good.
Peacekeeper show looks freaking amazing. I can't wait.
The Batman, last shot of the Batman trailer where he's walking upside down is
that gave me
so
goosebumps.
cool. Yeah, it's so cool.
That gave me goosebumps.
And I like the Flash trailer too. Like, that new suit looks sweet.
Yeah,
except the chin area. They need to give him a strap.
The cowl looks a little off.
But the suit itself looks great. Yeah.
The suit looks
much better than that robotic nonsense they had him in before. But in terms of video games, guys, we're going to start with the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League trailer. So this trailer starts with Amanda Waller's voiceover, trucks driving into Arkham Asylum. It's mainly cinematic trailer set to the Hive's Tick Tick Boom. Showed off the humor of the game, and it gave us looks at the Flash and Green Lantern for the first time. And of course, they did the Tick Tick Boom music to count down to someone's head blowing up. Classic Suicide Squad. Aman, you're the I don't know, resident DC fanboy. What'd you think of Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League?
I mean, I think it looked great, but again, it was just another cinematic trailer. I was expecting a gameplay trailer at least because I think the game's launching summer 2022. I think that's what they said they were aiming for. So yeah, I expected gameplay at least because again, we got a cinematic trailer last year. But yeah, other than that, it looks cool. The Justice League characters in it look cool. Damian Wayne's in the game because it's a continuation of Arkham Knight. And spoilers, for those who haven't played Arkham Knight, Batman dies at the end. So Damian Wayne's in the game, Superman's in the game.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Really? You must have never got the true ending.
That was a genuine spoiler for me, and I did not know
really?
that.
Oh, I thought you knew that. Okay, yeah.
No.
So Damian Wayne's in the game. There's one. We also get to see Wonder Woman. The Flash's costume looks terrible. That costume looked ass. Green Lantern looked okay, I guess. And yeah, it was a pretty basic cinematic trailer.
Tom, what are your thoughts on Suicide Squad?
Honestly, with this one, I wasn't too hyped for the trailer from what I saw. I was excited to see Flash and Green Lantern. I was like, okay, cool. We're actually gonna get the full Justice League in this one, and I'm more curious how the gameplay is going to work because I'm assuming every single one of these is gonna be like a separate boss battle. So I'm more interested in seeing the mechanics of how each individual battle is going to happen versus cinematic trailers. I get, the game's probably longer off because I think Gotham Knights is way more in development than this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably why they're more keen to show that one. But I'm with them on. I would have much preferred to see some sort of gameplay. I mean, I've already expected the Justice League to be there, so this trailer really did nothing for me compared to the first one.
It's in the title. I mean, so kill the Justice League.
Yeah, I found this trailer lackluster, to be honest. Like, I'm already kind of put off with this game, knowing that it's a 4-player multiplayer type game, giving me Avengers vibes. I don't think the humor really hit for me anyway. Like that bit where they were shocking the Penguin over and over, like that, I did not think it was funny. Like, I'm sure there are people out there that did. I just don't. I don't know. I don't really like Harley Quinn. I think is a big part, and she's like so integral to Suicide Squad, at least this iteration in the one of the movies. I'm not a fan, so I can't say that this trailer really did much for me there. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to re-echo everything that you guys said because certainly I think that you nailed it. It looks fine. It looks fine. I'm not sold on it.
No, it looks weird. Gameplay. The goggles look weird. The gray in the suit looks weird. Yeah, it looks weird.
Yeah, I think Tom brings up a good point. Like, what is the gameplay actually going to be? Because like a single member of the Justice League could take down all of them, right? Like,
yeah,
Superman would demolish them. Green Lantern will demolish them. The Flash will demolish them. So like, is it going to be recruiting?
Damian Wayne would demolish them.
Is it going to be like recruiting different members of the Justice or the Suicide Squad to take down, like trap a single member of the Justice? That would get old, I think. Like what you were saying.
Honestly, this is my theory on what the game's going to be like. Have you guys seen that the DC animated movie with Batman when somebody uses his plan to take down each member of the Justice League?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's going to be similar to that where they have to go find every single weakness before they actually battle them.
I hope not. That'd be
That's
so
the
boring.
only way it would make sense because these guys are weak as shit. Let's be honest here.
Well, okay. Here's my theory. So Batman's dead, and obviously he had the Tower of Babel storyline from the comics. So he has that plan how to kill each of the members of the Justice League. So Amanda Waller sets them out, forms the Suicide Squad, and their main job is to get those documents or whatnot. And while getting those documents, they face the Justice League, and at the end, when they do get the documents, they're able to beat them. I don't know.
We'll have to see. I mean, that's certainly as good a guess as any, knowing it is in the Arkham universe. Yeah. I don't know. I'd rather play as the Justice League. I want to play as the Flash. I don't want to play as King Shark.
I'm Superman.
They're never gonna make a Flash game, dude. I want them to so bad, but I don't think they'll be able to nail it.
I just want to be Barry Allen.
License out their properties like Lucasfilm Games.
It doesn't even have to be like an original Flash storyline. Just give me like Flashpoint. Give me like I don't even care. Just give me one of the generic ass Flash big storylines. Future Flash. I don't care. Just let me play as the Flash. It'd be cool. You could have like a time mechanic. Like I don't know, man. I think it'd be cool. You could do a lot of things, but well.
Imagine a Green Lantern RPG. It's similar to Starfield, where you could travel to a bunch
flying
of
through space.
Yeah,
through space, the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
That would be cool. You get to design your own character and all that.
I mean, as long as I can pick what Lantern Corp I want to join.
It's like, he's gonna join the what is it? Sinestro? Is that the yellow?
Yeah. Rage, whichever one does.
Red.
Yeah,
the Red Lanterns, Rage. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the next trailer. Gotham Knights trailer was much darker and subdued than Suicide Squad, showing the respective members of the Bat family, Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing, and Batgirl in various locations around Gotham. The story, as we know, will focus on the Court of Owls, and it showed each of the 4 protagonists going up against these adversaries. The game is currently scheduled to be released in 2022. I'm going to start with this one. This trailer was much better to me than Suicide Squad. Maybe it's just because I like the Bat family more. Like I would say I care more about Nightwing and Robin than like even Batman himself. Like I think like Dick Grayson is an amazing character to me. Even do we know what Robin is? It Tim Drake? Is that the Robin?
It's Tim Drake.
Yeah, because Jason Todd would be Red Hood.
That's what I thought. Well, I didn't know if they were going straight to Damian.
Oh no, yeah, because it's Tim Drake because he has access to the watchtowers, right? That's how he teleports from place to place in the game.
Yeah. Well, this trailer to me was it set up everything perfectly. Like if you're not familiar with the Court of Owls storyline, you got that little teaser. You kind of know like what they're basically, behind the scenes in the shadows, like in control of Gotham, what's going on there. I thought there was an interesting shot, Batgirl wearing one of the masks of the Court of Owls. So I was like, what's going on there? And the fact that like it's a co-op action RPG element game, like that has me sold. I was sold from the minute I saw gameplay last year. I'm glad that it's sticking with 2022. I hope it's not late 2022. I really want to get my hands on this game. I want this game before summer. Like if we can get it spring, I would love that.
Don't we already have a lot to play in that spring time period?
There's never enough games to play them on. There's never enough games.
Man, the only game I care about in February is Monarch, that indie JRPG from the
Monarch
Atlas
looks
devs.
so good. Monarch looks really good.
I don't care about any of the big games in February. I understand, like, don't put it in February. That is definitely not the month if you want this game to succeed. That's why I said, like, spring, like April, May,
March.
like June. Not March. March is still too close, especially because I think some of those February games are going to probably jump over to March. But Aman, what did you think of Gotham Knights?
Oh yeah, I think the trailer looked dope. I was hoping again for some more gameplay, but unfortunately we didn't get gameplay for either Suicide Squad or Gotham Knights. But yeah, I think the trailer was great. It had more of a focus on this Court of Owls than the Bat family, and yeah, I'm really excited. The Court of Owls is probably one of my favorite comic storylines from Batman. So yeah, pumped for it.
With him on there, I'd like. As far as New 52 goes, like the Court of Owls, like easily the best thing that Batman's done on that entire like arc. Besides that, New 52 was pretty trash. Personally, I think it was. So I'm excited they chose the best storyline from it. I'm really excited for this one, dude. I thought the trailer was good. I would have liked to see more gameplay, but at least we saw gameplay last time around, so I already have a general idea of how this game is going to work. I can see them doing a really good job with this game. The only thing that still throws me off is like I really wish this game was part of the Arkham universe.
But it would have made sense too. Because like Batman dies at the end of that.
It wouldn't have made sense because the Oracle can walk. So you know.
Yeah, they would have used like a different Batgirl, right? Because it's Barbara.
Yeah.
They would have used a different Batgirl, and they could have retconned like Court of Owls caused Batman's death or something. Like I could see how they can make a connection, but I think the characters don't work.
All right. Do you guys think Batman's actually dead?
No, obviously
Yeah.
not.
No, he's probably gonna show up in the Suicide Squad game.
No, I don't think he's gonna show up. I'm pretty sure he's gonna show up in Gotham Knights because, like, Tom, you've probably read the comics, right?
I mean, he could
'Cause-
show up in Gotham Knights because that's a separate universe. But still,
But do you
I
think he's
he'd
gonna
still
be a
show up in
playable
Suicide Squad.
character? Like, you unlock him at the end of the game or DLC?
I hope not.
No.
I hope not. I want this
You
game
hope
to
no. Why not?
I want this game to strictly focus on the Bat family. I want this game to be all about them. If you're adding in DLC characters, pull in other Bat family characters. Like, even if it doesn't make sense timeline wise, because like it's just for DLC, just give me Damian as Robin. Give me what's her name?
Terry Kelly.
No, I wasn't thinking that one, but Stephanie. Is that her
Stephanie
name?
Brown. Yeah, Stephanie.
Yeah,
Brown.
give me Stephanie.
They could
Yeah,
probably
throw them in
Catwoman
there.
Why
Yeah, I
not?
don't even care. Yeah, literally, like if they're Bat family adjacent.
Batwoman. Yeah.
Batwoman. Yep, that's a good show. Anything but Batman, because we've had Batman games.
Alfred.
No, I mean that'd be
Alfred.
that would be
No,
funny.
Alfred would be cool.
He's
Come
gonna
on.
That would
serve
be
up
funny
some
as hell.
justice.
That'd be funny as hell.
Yeah.
I would buy that DLC so fast. He's not even like in a Batman outfit. He's literally just like
Yeah.
Butler. Got his like a
carrying
cane.
some tea.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Well, I'm glad we're all in agreement there on those trailers. So we can move on over to story number 2 if you guys want, unless you got more to say about DC Fandom.
No, I'm good. Am I gonna
All
stick
right.
around for this one?
Yeah. I'll leave after story number 2.
Okay. Story number 2, Splinter Cell could finally be coming back. I'm pulling from Tom Henderson over at VGC, who states, quote, according to development sources, Splinter Cell has been put into production as means of winning back fans frustrated by recent efforts to revive the franchise in the mobile and VR spaces. While the article does not say which studio is currently working on the title, quote, 2 people with knowledge of Ubisoft's plans suggest the new Splinter Cell was being led by a studio outside of the traditional Montreal base. Tom, Splinter Cell could finally be coming back. Are our prayers answered?
Hopefully. So I'm still weird with this. They can say that Splinter Cell is coming back, but just looking at what Ubisoft is currently doing with all these free-to-play titles, I'm not extremely hopeful for this game regardless, unless they specifically tell me that this game is going to be a full price paid adventure. That's the only way I'm going to have any remote interest in this game. I'll be glad to see Sam Fisher back though, and if I was them, I would probably prefer to do like some sort of full remake, make it a fresh start for the people coming in, because this game's been gone for what, 10 years possibly. So when did Conviction come out? Yeah,
Wasn't
it's been a while.
Blacklist the last one?
I think 2012, right? 2012.
I thought it was Conviction, but whichever one, it was such a long time. So it's a fresh start, make it good for everyone, and yeah, I'm excited for it.
I agree with Tom.
So
Reboot the entire franchise.
Blacklist came out in 2013.
Oh, okay. So it's only been 8 years.
Yeah, but by the time this comes out, if they're just starting this, it would
By
be
the
Yeah,
time
yeah,
this comes out,
it'll
probably
be a
like
decade.
2024.
At least a decade. Yeah. Of no Splinter Cell. I obviously get excited. I've been begging for Splinter Cell to come back. Finally, another franchise that of Ubisoft I actually like, next to Rayman, because God knows I give them enough grief. I echo your sentiments about being worried about them making this game, though, because I really don't like the direction they're going down. Like, they turned Ghost Recon into a battle royale. They're making a free-to-play Division game. It's a whole. They're taking their IPs and just like, we're gonna shove them into this model, even though it doesn't work for this game. So,
Exactly.
God knows if we get a trailer where there's 50 Sam Fishers dropping down and y'all got to like fight each other and then go assassinate a target, I would not be surprised, because that seems like some bullshit that Ubisoft would do. There's my swear word number 2 for the episode. I want them to stick to traditional formula. I want them to really like find a team that knows what made the first 3 games, especially the first. I think the original trilogy, Conviction and Blacklist, while good, I think kind of got away from it. Find what made the first 3 so special in fans' minds and just recreate that. Don't try to pull in other stuff. I know I've heard this argument that's like Splinter Cell needs to be modernized. Like people this generation don't want like that slow stealth gameplay. What do you think about that, Amon? You're younger. You didn't grow up with Splinter Cell like we did.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't necessarily think of Splinter Cell that way. Splinter Cell is stealth based, but so is Metal Gear Solid, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So people still love that. So I don't think they would have a problem with Splinter Cell.
Yeah, but I think the thing with Metal Gear and Splinter Cell, you get into firefights more often in Metal Gear. When Splinter Cell, you getting into a firefight was actually like you might like. It's not like you're gonna die. It's not like you can get out of that really like easily. But I do believe that they should modernize Splinter Cell. Honestly, I think the normal structure of just doing missions, point A, point B type of adventure, I don't think that's what I would want in a modern Splinter Cell game. I would still take an open world formula of Splinter Cell.
No.
I disagree with you there, Tom.
Hold on.
Say your piece. Come on.
So pretty much I would follow a lot what Metal Gear Solid 5 did, where they opened the world and each individual area had different missions and objectives. I think that would work better, but obviously you want to have more indoor compounds as well to actually be able to utilize a lot of the mechanics that do make Splinter Cell great, like, splitting down the walls and waiting for them to come by and then knocking down onto them. So obviously you don't want to get rid of everything that made the game great. You still want to include everything, but you do have to modernize it to a point. And you also they can't make the games with Sam Fisher being weak in firefights. I get that worked for us back in the day, but now modernized, they have to make it so Sam Fisher can actually stand his own in these battles.
Well, that's kind of what they tried to do in Conviction and Blacklist, right? Like you could go full guns blazing. You had that mechanic where you could like basically freeze time, mark everyone, blow their heads off. And those are the worst ones in the series for me.
Well, that was stupid for one. Like that's like the whole Red Dead Redemption feature where you just mark enemies and just like that's cheap. But you don't have to make it a cakewalk, but just make it so you can actually stand your own if you do get caught at some point.
I disagree with Tom. I don't think they should modernize Splinter Cell. I haven't played any of the Splinter Cell games, but if like from what I've known, like previous games, like older games that have made a comeback and that have been modernized, the fans aren't usually very happy with the final product. So as Kevin said, like with Conviction and Blacklist, how they did I saw a few videos on YouTube where you can mark the enemies and then quickly go in guns blazing, eliminating all of them like in a few seconds. So people were not happy with that. So modernizing it even further would just lead to more fan backlash.
It'll lead to this franchise dying for sure. They have to get this franchise in the hands of new consumers, instead of just people like us who grew up with it. We'll never see another Splinter Cell game.
But the new consumer, but like this generation of consumers only cares about Fortnite and Battle Royale games.
Yeah, so this is the argument that was like, does Halo need a Battle Royale? And it 100% doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
It does. It does. It would keep it in the people's minds for the streaming community. Because without streaming without a Battle Royale,
Halo doesn't need a Battle Royale, but it would benefit from a Battle Royale.
It would, because watching normal arena games like multiplayer just shooters like PV team deathmatches on Twitch or YouTube does not pull in nearly as much views as a Battle Royale does. And that'll make the game more relevant if they don't keep it long term.
But the problem I would have is like something similar that happened with Call of Duty. They started putting a lot more emphasis on Warzone than they did on multiplayer. And I didn't play Warzone. I was a multiplayer only back then, so that kind of pissed me off. So do you think so? If 343 do sneak in a multiplayer in Halo Infinite, and then that starts gaining more traction, and they put in a lot more emphasis on the battle royale, how?
Well, I'm gonna go with the Call of Duty argument you just made because the multiplayer there, they focused on both well enough.
No, they did not. They
We
did not.
had about 4
The
to 5
like
maps.
there were weekly content drops for Warzone, and multiplayer had like
Yeah, but
one.
if we're going to traditional Call of Duty, it's always been like about 4 to 5 maps every 2-3 months, and they still kept with that formula.
No, they didn't.
So if you were,
We got like one map
no, we
every
did
3
not.
to 4 months. Yeah, COD 2019.
No, dude, I played COD
Modern Warfare.
2019. Dude, it was like 3 to 4 maps at
No,
least.
it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Yes, dude. Come on.
All right, children, stop fighting. Daddy's home now. Yeah, no, back to Splinter Cell though. Like, I get what you're saying. I don't want a full open world. I don't want anything close to Assassin's Creed or Far Cry levels. I would take like a semi-open, like sealed off, like it's a big map area, but you get multiple of those. I want Sam to travel around the world and be like, okay, maybe we'll go to Asia or something, like some sort of subsection where it's like you have this playground to go in and you have certain missions, but those missions are basically their own little levels in that world.
So that's similar to what Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order did. Like, it was an open world, but like you would be sent to this island for a mission, but there were other side missions on that island, and you could explore around the island.
That's fine with me, but as long as they don't keep it linear either, because you have to be able to have different paths to complete the same mission. Pretty much, that's what would make the game succeed for me, and a lot more than normal. I don't just need like, all right, you can take this path A or path B and be okay with it. I want to be able to experiment myself with multiple ways of how I can complete the same exact mission.
You know who might be a good developer for them to contact and ask about this is IO.
Yeah, I agree.
I hear they're pretty good.
No, see, the problem I have with like making Splinter Cell open world, it would just be Watch Dogs then, wouldn't it?
Not necessarily.
I don't think so. No.
Even Watch Dogs has quite a heavy emphasis on stealth and it's open world.
Because I wasn't saying like an open world, like in the sense like, oh, now we have a city to travel through. It's more like, between facilities or some shit.
Yeah, I got you. I think, like I said, if it was a small subsection of the area, not like the entire world, like, oh, I'm gonna travel 50 kilometers that way and like on horseback. Obviously not horseback, but like I'm not gonna get in a car with Sam Fisher and drive to another city. Like, I don't want that. I would like to get dropped in an area, do your missions there, get extracted, go to a different area.
Yeah, I guess that's fine.
Fair enough.
I'm trying to compromise here. If it was up to me, the game would be linear as hell. You get dropped starting point, get to end point, and then you get extracted, go to the next mission. That's all I want. I prefer those types of games, but I'm trying to compromise. So anything else on Splinter Cell, guys?
That's it for me.
Okay, Aman, are you going to bow out here?
Yes.
All
right, guys. All right, gentlemen. Have a good show and peace.
Goodbye. All right, it's just us. We finally dropped the dead weight. You know what I'm saying?
The dynamic duo returns.
All right. For anyone listening, obviously Aman just left, but we're going to keep the show going, and we'll roll right into story number 3. So, Xbox Game Pass update time. For the second time this month, as we do every month, it's time to run down the titles being added to Xbox Game Pass so you can plan your gaming accordingly. On October 19th, we received Into the Pit Cloud Console and PC. This is a fast-paced retro FPS roguelite. Oh my God, adjectives. And we also got Outriders finally dropping on PC Game Pass. I know it was a big thing that it wasn't available on PC when it initially launched, but it is now. So if you are waiting to play Outriders, probably now would be a good time, seeing as they most likely have fixed the servers and most of the bugs. I don't know, man. I finished the story and dropped off. I haven't kept up with their nonsense. October 21st, today, we are receiving Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighter Z. No one's really told me how to say it. Cloud and console. We also get Echo Generation, cloud, console, and PC. That is an indie RPG game. And Everspace 2 comes to PC. October 28th, so next Thursday, we will be receiving Age of Empires 4 for PC, Alan Wake's American Nightmare for console and PC, Backbone for console, Bassmaster Fishing 2022, cloud, console, and PC, Non-Guns Doppelganger Edition, cloud, console, and PC, and The Forgotten City, cloud, console, and PC. So, Tom, any games that are piquing your interest?
Yeah. So, Into the Pit, that's a game that I'm obviously going to try because it's a roguelite. And I saw the trailer. It looks interesting. I already have it downloaded. I'll probably try it. Not today, maybe this weekend. I'll give it a shot and try to do a couple of runs on that and see how that works. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is an amazing fighting game. If you guys are remotely into fighters that keep true, that actually are competitive, this is a good game. It's really like a throwback to like the Marvel versus Capcom 2s and Marvel versus Capcom 3s. It's really a fun game. Really easy to get into as well. If like this game just throws combos at you, but it makes it so interesting, and it gets really in depth. And finally, The Forgotten City, I'm extremely interested in. I played The Forgotten City originally. It was like a Skyrim mod way back when. I did play a lot of that, and I was actually surprised when I saw it on the Game Pass list. I had no idea they were making this to a standalone game. So apparently it is a lot different than what the mod was. So
Yeah.
I'm actually really interested to see what concepts they pull into this. I know it's a time loop kind of game. All the reviews that I've seen on this game, they're all raving for this game. It's like 12 minutes time loop. That was trash. This time loop apparently is amazing. So give that one a shot.
Yeah, so 2 out of the 3 you just named are the 2 I'm going to talk about. I already have Dragon Ball Fighter Z downloaded. Looking forward to hopping into that. I'm going to get one of my buddies is going to download it. The other fighting game guy in my group. It's made by Arc System Works, right? The same people that do Guilty Gear, because I think it has a lot of the similar, like it has a tutorial mode that's going to like teach you the mechanics, because Guilty Gear's tutorial really good. So I feel like this is another fighting game that I'm going to like enjoy picking up. I don't know if I'll stick with it long term. It's already hard enough for me to, play Nick All-Star, Smash, and Guilty Gear, let alone adding in Dragon Ball Fighters. But the only thing I've done in the game so far is you go into like the main plaza, and then you get like 50,000 Zenny, and they're like, go to the Z shop and buy like a little guy to walk around as.
Yeah, the little chibi versions.
And they're having.
I collected so many of those guys.
Oh my god, man! They're having a little Halloween event right now, and all the Dragon Ball Z characters get out Halloween outfits. So I was spending all my Zenny just looking to see what Halloween outfits I can get. I got Android 16 as Frankenstein. You got Beerus with like a pumpkin on his head. Goku's like a cat. They're on like little Halloween. Vegeta's a vampire. He's got like a cape. They're adorable little chibi guys. So that alone worth the price of admission for free. Other than that, I'm interested to check out The Forgotten City, because like you have heard nothing but praise for that. The fact that it did start as a Skyrim mod, and knowing, Skyrim's amazing. The game looks very interesting. You're like thrown into the role of someone stuck in a time loop in a city where if you do anything bad, the entire city gets turned to gold, I think.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. So that's really interesting. I think that's a cool concept. Hopefully it's implemented as well as everyone says. So I'm going to check that out next week when that drops onto Game Pass. But Tom, I I actually forgot one, and this was one that just broke before we started the show. It's not coming in October. It's not even coming in November. December 14th, Among Us finally launches onto consoles and into Game Pass featuring crossplay. All I have to say is about a year too late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't even see this like game on my recommendeds on YouTube anymore at all. So it's probably something that's died down a whole lot. I'm not really too interested in it right now.
December 14th is too far away for me even to like recognize what I'll be playing then.
Halo.
Yeah, definitely Halo. Oh yeah, Halo. Halo comes out like 6 days before that. Among
Yeah.
Us, what are you doing? How could it possibly take that long to port a game? Like,
I'm assuming a lot of it probably has to do with like I know they're gonna do voice chat in that one.
are
So
they?
maybe that's what I've read. Because how are you gonna type? It's gonna take way too long to type everything.
I mean, that's the problem with the Switch. The Switch is useless for Among Us.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to type during those meetings, that's gonna be a stupid game. You're just gonna accuse everyone because you're not gonna be able to type a lot.
Yeah, agreed. This might be a game that I download just because it's free. It has crossplay, so obviously the player base probably going to get a boost from launching on the PlayStation and Xbox. But if it does have voice chat, I think that's a big win. I think that could really help make consoles better than PC to play on, except PC gets those sweet mods where you get like Sheriff and Jester. Bruce Green streams that I watch over there are still entertaining. That's all that's all I really have to say about Among Us. I think it's a little too late. The other thing, Fall Guys, we're still waiting on Fall Guys to get ported over.
I'd rather have that game.
I would rather have that game too. It's on my PC and I'm just like, the amount of times I've looked at it on PlayStation, I was like, should I just buy again for like $8? Like, I would have fun with it. Like, I put like 30 hours into it, but I just want all the stuff I have on PC. So when they give me cross progression, and then I'll buy it again. That's all I gotta say. But we can move on to story number 4. Could we finally see Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox? Coming from Jared Moore over IGN, Final Fantasy 14 director and producer Naoki Yoshida says that discussions between Square Enix and Microsoft to bring the game to Xbox are positive, but still ongoing. Excuse me. The comment comes from an interview with Easy Allies where Yoshida states, quote, "We are still in discussions with Microsoft, and I feel like our conversations are going in a positive tone. I don't want to say that we do not have an Xbox version, but I'm hoping that the timing will be very soon, that I'll have some kind of update for the players." Final Fantasy XIV launched and was critically panned, receiving massive backlash from the community. However, Final Fantasy XIV has since relaunched and is now one of the most popular and successful MMORPGs on the planet. Tom, have you ever played Final Fantasy XIV, and would you like to see it on Xbox?
So yes, I have about 20 years worth of hours on Final Fantasy XIV. I've played a lot of it. I never played the initial launch. I started it when they relaunched it as a Realm Reborn way back when. I played that initially on the PS3, and then I played it on PC, and then I also own it again on PS4. So yeah, this is one that I would like to play. I mean, honestly, it's hard to like whether or not it comes to Xbox. I think it'd be great coming to Xbox. As far as time commitment wise, if that's something I can play long term again, that's a whole different discussion. But for fans of MMORPGs, I think having more options on Xbox is great because right now the only options is like Neverwinter Nights, I believe, Black Desert Online, DC Universe Online, just really old games.
Phantasy Star Online,
yeah, Fantasy
New Genesis,
and that one I don't even hear about. So it's like. I think Final Fantasy will be a great come. I mean, it's like the top 2. It's like the number 2 MMORPG, like in terms of population at the moment. So it'd be a great game to come on Xbox.
Yeah, no, I've never played it. I think you can play up to level 60 for free. I think that's what you currently can do. without, then you have to pay a monthly subscription, right? I think
Yeah,
it's like
it's the you get the base game for free and the first expansion pack, I believe.
yeah,
And then after that, you have to pay to continue onward.
it's like $15 a month, right?
13 if you're just doing one character, 16 I believe it's like 15 or 16 if you want multiple characters. You don't need multiple characters in this game. One character
Price?
can literally have every class.
I think the thing that intrigues me about Final Fantasy 14 is I've heard the story, just from a story perspective, is really good. Like if they just repackaged it as like a straight story game and cut out the MMO RPG elements, I think I would probably pick it up and play it. Because you don't really need, like, you don't need that stuff, right? Like you can just play the story.
Yeah, but I feel like it adds to the story because it's a different kind of storytelling as you go along with it. Because a lot of the storytelling comes from you like doing the missions and then you have to kill 20 mobs, 20 whatever, but you have like a guy with you explaining the narrative of what's going on. So I think it'd be a tough job, and I think it would be unnecessary as well. I feel like they should just focus on newer Final Fantasies. It's a great story, but I don't think it's like the best. It works for what it is as an MMO.
Okay. I mean, listen, anything Japanese related, get it on Xbox. I've tweeted this out a bunch. Support Japanese games on Xbox, guys. Everyone has been talking, this is what we've been missing since the 360 generation. Then buy the games. I want to hear any more of this. Well, maybe it'll come to Game Pass. Like if they drop, go buy them. I know we're getting some Japanese games on Game Pass. Scarlet Nexus just came, but that launched back in June. We got the AI, the Somnium files that just got poured over right into Game Pass. That's a big get. That game's critically acclaimed. But like Tales of Arise, it was the 6th best selling on Xbox in September, which is when it launched. And it was the 5th best selling on PlayStation. So I'd like to know the exact numbers because PlayStation did have bigger launches in September. Like they had Deathloop, they had Kena. So it doesn't surprise me that Tales of Arise wasn't the highest on PlayStation. But what did we have in September on Xbox? We didn't have those big launch titles, or like we didn't have like exclusives like Kena and Deathloop. So I really want to know, like, people are clamoring for Japanese games. Go buy them though. Like I don't want to hear like maybe Tales of Arise will come in 6 months. Go buy the game. It's a great game. You won't regret it. But it's not even just that. Like other JRPGs, other Japanese style games, if you actually want them on this console, you need to support them. Otherwise, developers are going to be like, we're going to stick with PlayStation and Switch.
I agree. I agree with that sentiment. I mean, we have to be supportive of it, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of that community as well, they're like already on PlayStation and the Xbox community is like, we want it, but that's because a smaller community versus PS or Nintendo at this point. But I mean, it's growing as these games start coming out. People will get more invested in them, and I think the numbers will just increase organically, anyways.
I hope so. Well, we will wait and see if Final Fantasy 14 comes, but we can move on to story number 5. Almost halfway through the stories, guys.
It's been almost an hour, and we have a lot of stories, guys.
We got a few short ones in here though, so hopefully we're not here for 2 more hours. Story number 5, Dragon Age 4 will be next gen exclusive. This comes from Tom Ivan over at Video Game Chronicles. It says that BioWare's fantasy RPG will be skipping PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The LinkedIn profile of a former BioWare employee who worked as lead player designer on the game lists these target platforms, and VentureBeat also claims to have independently confirmed that the game is not in development for PS4 or Xbox One, meaning that it is a next-gen exclusive to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. Obviously, Tom, Dragon Age 4, far away. It's not coming anytime soon. Maybe still a few more years, I think, on that. But makes me happy to know that they are just going to give it next gen. I think that'll really allow them to make the best version of the game possible and not be constrained by like, oh, we got to make sure it runs on last gen, like Elden Ring. Did you see the leak of Elden Ring? And people were like, it's an old build, but did you see that like 30-second leak of the Xbox One version?
No, when was that?
Oh, it was a few days ago. Did not look great. Did not look great. The textures on the environments were very poor. So I don't want that to happen to Dragon Age, because obviously Dragon Age is a big open world style game. Not really, you know what I mean. Lots of environments, lots of characters on screen. I want Dragon Age to be the best it can be, so then we can all enjoy it. And in a few years, like, people should probably be on next gen consoles by then, right? So doesn't make sense to me to make it for last gen.
Exactly. If this game's like 3 years out, 4 years out, there's zero reason. I believe the stock issues by then should be like resolved, and most people just transitioned over anyways. There's no reason to keep developing for last gen. Right? Currently, it makes sense, maybe for this year and next year. But after that, I mean, there should be a more focus on next gen regardless.
Fully agree. Not much else to say there. Just wanted to throw that in for anyone unaware and worried about Dragon Age. Story number 6 we can go on to. This one's a little more meaty. If you were holding out for VR support on Xbox, don't hold your breath. Pulling from Chris Scullion over at Video Game Chronicles. Shout out Video Game Chronicles for always giving us the news. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has reiterated that Xbox has no interest in developing VR hardware. Asked during a discussion with the Wall Street Journal, Spencer replied stating that while he admired the work going on in the immersive technology sphere, there's still no interest in making a VR headset for Xbox, and software remains its focus. We're big believers in the software platform and the devices that will enable that. Absolutely. But we're focused a lot more on the software side right now. When I think about immersive worlds and I think about the connection of a player and community, that's something that's very high on our investment list, said Phil Spencer. Quote, I think the devices that are out there now, we stay connected with a lot of the players that are out there, people building hardware. A lot of that happens on Windows, and we experiment and talk to a lot of the partners that are there. I think the hardware innovation that's happening is great, and it's an important enabler, but right now I'm deciding to stay more on the software side. I believe it will scale better in the long run. And I applaud what Sony's doing. I applaud what Oculus is doing, what Valve has done. I mean, there's good players out there that have something amazing VR work. But yeah, we're going to stay as a company right now in the consumer space, focused on software. And I think that's a good bet. Now, that was a mouthful of quotes from Phil Spencer, basically shutting down VR. Are you disappointed to hear this, Tom?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think VR is a great addition as a substitute for a lot of different kind of gaming. It offers a lot of different stuff. For example, accessibility issues as well. I mean, you can play games a lot easier sometimes with just 2 thumbsticks and your goggles on. But I don't think this story initially, itself, says that we're not going to get VR on Xbox. Phil Spencer said they're not focusing on hardware themselves. I still truly believe down the line we're going to get some sort of partnership with Microsoft, maybe get this working with like the HTC Vive or the Oculus. I don't think Microsoft themselves needs to focus on their own headset when there's already so good headsets out that they've already been tested for such a long time and are constantly improving. There's no need for Microsoft to really have to jump in there, as these people aren't necessarily their competitors like in the console space. It's just headsets that help supplement the games, and I believe that those will still come to Xbox.
I gotta tell you, man, I was in the Amazon store a few weekends ago. One of those, buy everything 4-star rated or above. And I saw an Oculus 2 Quest, right? Oculus Quest 2 over there. And I was like, oh, these things were super expensive when they came out. And it was $300. And I was like, damn, is that how cheap it is for VR these days? Like, I almost bought it. I almost went up and was like, I don't need this, but I want it. Give me this VR headset. I'm going to go home. I'm going to play some Beat Saber. I luckily did not make such an impulsive purchase. But if they made the headset compatible with Xbox in some way, maybe a new version that they're going to come out with. But I I think that would be great. I think implementing it would open up possibilities for people that might not be interested in VR. Personally, I would I would love if they went over to Sony and were like, "Yo, you got that PSVR 2 coming out. How about we work together here and make some sort of deal?" Never going to happen. That would just benefit me because I have both consoles. Gregor says, "Yes, get a Quest, please. So many activities. Make the impulsive purchase." Thank you for enabling my bad habits. I didn't do that. Maybe one day, but I thought about it just because of the price tag. And I think if they can make it maybe a little more affordable, like as technology improves, I think we will see a bigger demand for VR.
I agree. I mean, as the price drops, it's just going to get so much better. And from what I've played on VR, like I've had a good time, but it's just nothing that I personally want to purchase just yet. I would have got it on my PS4 if I really wanted it way back when.
Oh yeah, you could have had the camera, all those wires. Look,
Mhm.
once they're doing away with the wires, and I think that's a good first step because like it's just a pain in the ass, right, to like set up some of these VR headsets.
Yeah,
Like
just give me the nerve gear from Sword Art. I'll just connect in. I'll
that's
be
what
good.
my brother unironically agrees with you. He wants that so bad. He wants to be able to put on a headset, lay in bed, and just like go into a virtual world, like hardcore.
I don't think I'd leave. I'm never waking up, guys. I'm sorry.
Just put an IV drip in, set an alarm, come out for food every so often, go back in. You're all set. But that would be interesting to see if Xbox can strike some sort of deal. Like you said, they're working with partners over on the Windows side, so it's not technology they're unfamiliar with. They would just need to translate it to Xbox, and we'll have to wait and see there. But story number 7. Excuse me, geez. Xbox Game Pass sees growth in subscribers but falls short of expectations. Coming from Sean Endicott over at Windows Central, Xbox Game Pass grew by 37.48% in Microsoft's 2021 fiscal year, but the gaming subscriptions growth fell short of Microsoft's target. The target was apparently 47.79% growth. Microsoft's 2021 fiscal year ended June 30th, 2021. Despite the overall growth, when comparing this time range of this fiscal year, which captures mid 2020 to mid 2021, to the previous fiscal year of mid 2019 to mid 2020, Xbox did not come anywhere close to matching the growth they saw during the previous fiscal year, where Game Pass grew 85.75%. However, Windows Central does say that, quote, that difference is due to, in part, Xbox Game Pass being newer in 2020 fiscal year, and that is reflected by Microsoft's lower fiscal year 21 target, because obviously they're not going to set a crate. We're not going to grow 90%. It's a 1 year older service. They're going to lower their expectations because a lot of people have already entered. But I know a few weeks ago we were debating, is it at 30 million to Take-Two kind of let the CEO let that slip? If you do the math, depending on where a little rough estimation here, because the fiscal year did end in June and they've gained subscribers since then. With those numbers, the Game Pass sub count would be around 20 to 24-ish million, if depending on when you're going from June or maybe to October. It could be anywhere within that range. That's a safe bet. So, Tom, looks like you don't have to buy me a copy of whatever game we bet on,
I think it was
because
Diablo 2.
you don't have to buy me a copy of Diablo 2 because it's not 30 million. It is a little, a bit short of that, around the 20 to 24-ish range. Let's just say 22 million. We'll call it in the middle. So I fell a few million short, but still good growth. Still something like the service is doing well. I've seen people blow this out of proportion, be like, oh my God, Game Pass is dying. Nobody wants Game Pass is a failure. All this nonsense fanboyism. And in reality, this is good. Like, Game Pass is still growing. It's growing at a good rate, 37%. Like, it's almost 40%. Like, that's not far off 50. You've almost got like another half of your subscriber base in a year.
Yeah, I mean, these numbers are not to scoff at. Sure, the growth is less and it's also less from what they expected it to be. But by all means, it's still growing consistently. I mean, and a lot of it has to attribute as well. Like honestly, there wasn't a lot of good games on Game Pass. There wasn't like those big day one releases from Microsoft. I think this fiscal year coming now, like we're getting Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite. Those numbers are just gonna go right back up.
Redfall, Hellblade, maybe, hopefully, Starfield. No, Starfield won't be in this fiscal year, but you get my point. We're getting more big titles. You can continue. Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh no, that's all I got. This story is not really nothing huge. Besides winning a bet. Besides winning a fucking bet.
You care more about the bet. Yeah. It's cool. I did want to put that in there because of our discussion a few weeks ago. Felt it was important to update and important to let everyone know I won't be getting Diablo 2.
It doesn't work anyways, guys. It's okay.
That's true. That's true. So we can move on. We got, like I said, lots of news, but smaller stories. Story number 8. If you're having storage issues with your Series console, that could soon be over. Coming from Xbox Wire, Xbox today announced 2 new SSD expansion cards for Xbox Series X and S. Produced by Seagate, one is coming mid-November and available for pre-order today at Walmart, and that is the 512 gigabyte SSD card that will run you $139 and launches in November. Available for pre-order in November for $399.99 will be a 2 terabyte SSD expansion card, and that'll launch in December. Tom, what are your initial reactions? Are you having storage issues? Are these cards worth it?
So I don't have storage issues because I transfer my games between my external hard drive whenever I do truly need them. And I'm only ever playing a couple of games at a time regardless. But these prices are absurd. $400 for a 2 terabyte card. NVMe 2 cards right now are normally on sale for like $250 at the 2 terabyte 2 terabyte size. Where the hell is the competition right now, Microsoft? You're really why is Seagate still literally the only ones on the market? And the argument that we had the other day about opening up the PS to add extra SSDs on there. This is exactly why I envy the PS5. I don't care that it's harder, that they have it's harder for them to replace a solid state drive. The fact that you can get a solid state drive, which is by the way faster than the one that is offered by NVMe 2. They're also much cheaper, but yet here we are. Microsoft, you better do something about this.
Gregor's asked, why the F are they so expensive? You can get an 8 terabyte hard drive for $150. Will they just be formatted already? Is it a speed thing? I'm very confused. So yes to all those questions. It is an SSD, so it's hard drives. I think SSDs are automatically they're usually more expensive than their hard drive counterparts in general, right? Yeah. So then you get the Velocity architecture is automatically formatted on the card. That is the architecture the Xbox uses. So that means it lets you play all your Series X and S games off the card, and it works with quick resume and all those features. It has to match the speed of the internal SSD on the Series X and S consoles. So that is why those cards have to be that specific. But the reason they are so expensive is because it's proprietary, and it's not just some I can plug in an external SSD and it'll give me the same stuff. They're literally shaped like a memory card. The whole design, they are specifically designed, and Seagate's the only one allowed to manufacture them right now, so they can put whatever price they want on it. It's not a great system for people that want external storage. It just raises the prices. I'm sure the cards are great. I'm sure they work great, but I'm not paying. I mean, first of all,
I would buy another Xbox before I buy a 2 terabyte card.
For $100 more, you can get another Series X compared to that 2 terabyte card. It's ridiculous. I don't know where they're getting these prices from. Well, I do. I just went over it, but it's still it's nonsense. My point is, I don't need SSD storage. I don't need external storage in general because I am very much in the camp that 1 terabyte is more than I will ever need. I have never been over 50% of my SSD space on my Series X. Hell, even when I had my Xbox One, the 500 gigabytes, I never filled that up. Not once did I come anywhere close to filling up my hard drive. And that's because I have a simple motto: beat it and delete it. You beat the game, you uninstall it. Now, does that work for everyone? No. I am blessed to have great internet and I can download things very quick. I don't have data caps. I understand if you have data caps or slow internet, then you probably need external storage because you don't want to have to constantly re-download things, hit your caps, wait days to play games. Completely understand that. I'm not talking to you. For people with good internet, you don't need this. Please do not go buy a $400 2 terabyte SSD card. At least wait until it drops in price. Like, that's all I can say.
How don't you have storage issues? I'm always like at 5% of capacity. And it's not about a beat it and delete it strategy either. I'm playing multiplayer games that literally have hundreds of gigabytes. Right now on my Xbox, I'm downloading NBA 2K22 with the free money that I just got from the thing I sent in Discord earlier.
Yeah.
That game's 122 gigabytes.
That's nonsense.
I play games that are massive in size. So I would love the option to be able to not have to transfer it from my external hard drive, because external hard drive is still way faster than downloading. It downloads way quicker. So either way, but yes, it's still an inconvenience factor. I would love to not even have to do that.
Yeah, transfer takes like what, 10, 15 minutes? Depending on the game,
so
right?
it'd be way faster than downloading a 100 gig game, regardless. But still, it's more about the fact that it's not as convenient.
No, I'm with you. Like I said, people in the cases that I mentioned, definitely just go get an hard drive. Go get an external hard drive. Like I said, you could get like an 8 terabyte one for basically the price of the 512 SSD. So go grab that, throw all your games on it, and then just transfer back and forth. You will save money. You will save time. If you're really hurting for storage space, that is undoubtedly the better option. You do not need $400 SSD card.
I want to just say something.
Yeah.
Gregor says, if I wasn't such an Apple fanboy, I would be giving Microsoft shit about this. Dude, they're so pulling an Apple right now. They're making things expensive as hell for no reason. They are so pulling an Apple.
It is what it is. But you don't have to buy it. That is the good news. You don't have to buy it. Vote with your wallet. Don't buy it. Wait for it to drop in price, or like I said, go get an external hard drive. We can move on to story number 9. Going to be a quick little story here. Pulling from Joe Screbbles over at IGN, Halo Infinite won't launch with ray tracing on PC, but developer 343 Industries says it's one of the studio's top development priorities post-launch. This comes after a blog post where 343 announced they are partnering with AMD to produce a new Halo-themed high-power graphics card. It's still unknown whether ray tracing will ever come to series consoles, but it is confirmed that it is coming post-launch to PC. Tom, another feature from Halo Infinite that won't be there at launch. We're not going to have co-op campaign. We're not going to have Forge. We're not going to have ray tracing on PC. Well, it's not going to be on consoles, but we don't know if it's ever coming. What are they doing over there?
So at least with the ray tracing, when this game was supposed to come out last year, we knew it was not supposed to come out with ray tracing at launch regardless. You would expect that a year down the line that, the game might now have actually launch with the ray tracing, but they're still sticking true to what that initial statement was, that the game is not going to have ray tracing at launch. Does it affect me? I mean, it would look prettier, but honestly, I'm more about the performance of the game regardless. So in the game, from what I've seen, it looks beautiful regardless. I don't think this game really needs ray tracing. Maybe some ray trace shadows would help. The lighting looks fine regardless. But now, I mean, it'll be good game regardless. I mean, whether it comes down the line or not, this might not even be an option that I ever utilize, just because I'd rather have a more stable frame rate regardless.
I agree. Ray tracing in a FPS is not needed for me. I'm the person, give me the 1440p 120 FPS in Halo. I don't care about playing at 4K 60 with ray tracing or 1080p 60 with ray tracing. Like, ray tracing is not needed in this game. I would much rather have the improved performance and FPS, because that is what you want in a first person shooter. Like, that's so much more important than like, oh, it's shinier over there. Like, the reflections look good. Like, oh, okay, bro, but you're playing at 23 FPS. I can't even see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really see it working. Like, even if they do implement it, I can see this not even being a feature on the multiplayer side at all, because that'll be the biggest hit. In terms of the campaign, I can see this dropping the frame rate quite a bit. Like, they would probably have to do like a 30 FPS lock, and I would not touch Halo at all with a 30 FPS lock. Some people might, because it'll look a little prettier, but I'm not touching it. I mean, I want to talk about some good implementations of ray tracing first as well. Like, when Doom updated,
Dooms is great.
Yes, Dooms did a good job. I believe their resolution was like a 1440p with the ray tracing still. The resolution on the ray tracing with reflections were a little lower than what you can get on PC, but it still looks really great. So it really did add to the game. But with like the struggles that they've been having so far with Halo Infinite, I doubt they're gonna be able to pull off a stable frame rate like Doom did, considering like it is just like masters at what they do, and 343 aren't.
There's something about that id engine, man. They get stuff to look so good, and I don't understand how. That Doom update is phenomenal. Like, I went back after they updated and beat the game, as I mentioned a few weeks ago. It's just unbelievable the way that game can look. I played in the 120 FPS mode, but I did check out ray tracing. It's just stunning. Like, it's a beautiful game. Hellblade, obviously you don't need the 120 FPS mode there. They do have one, but their ray tracing, I think, is fantastic in the new Hellblade update. I would say Control Ultimate Edition, while you do have to play at 30 FPS, I think that is a really, like, the ray tracing is really good, but you do have to play at 30 FPS, so a bit of a hit there.
Yeah, and performance over prettiness, always.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what 343 can accomplish, but story number 10, 10 stories. Long day, but Xbox's October update is out now and brings with it a 4K dashboard. Coming from Xbox Wire, starting today, the Xbox UI will no longer be upscaled 1080p. It will be 4K and provide increased sharpness and text readability. Also coming in this update is Xbox Night Mode. This allows you to adjust light sources to help keep rooms dark at night. You can dim and customize the light from the connected display, the power button on your controller, and the button on your console. It also gives you the ability to add a blue light filter. Obviously, blue light, the stuff that you absorb and makes you stay awake, have trouble falling asleep at night. So if you're playing in a dark room, you can dim all the lights, you can put the blue filter on, then you can go to bed. Easy. Hit the sheets, you fall right asleep. I'm most excited about the 4K dashboard. I don't know why it didn't launch with this. I remember people being like, oh, I'll take resources away. I know Jason Ronald has confirmed no resources are being taken away to put this dashboard in 4K. So I can't wait to go update my Xbox, turn it on, and look at the pretty new UI, and then go into a game, because who just sits on the home screen?
Exactly. That's why I really don't care about this update, because of that exact point. I use my dashboard to pull up the next game on my list. I don't have to see how like sharp the next corner is gonna be when it's in 4K. Like, oh man, look at that. More pixels, or less pixels, just to say. But yeah, I mean, it's good that it's coming, because it should have came out on launch regardless. It's not a big update. The biggest update for me is definitely the lights, adjusting the lights. I hate how bright the Xbox button is on my like on both the console and on my controller. I hate it. It strains my eyes.
Do you play in a dark room?
I don't play with the lights on.
Oh, okay, buddy. All right. Hurt your eyes there.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why the fuck I'm wearing glasses now, dude. Like, it wasn't always like this, but believe it or not. But yeah, no, I hate it. I hate the brightness. Like with the PlayStation 4, when that first came out as well, the feature of the light, like you couldn't adjust the lights with a big light bar on the bottom. When they updated that, like we're like within like a year in, I was glad for the same exact reason because it's less light in the room. I loved it so much. I'm surprised it took Microsoft this long though. When like I feel like the Xbox button has already been bright as hell last generation. This seems like you guys could have did this last gen, but better late than ever, I guess.
I play with the lights on, so I can't say that I've ever noticed how bright any of the buttons are. They're fine. They've never hurt my eyes, certainly.
How do you play horror games?
With the lights on.
Why?
Because I'm a wimp.
Dude, yeah, no, you need the lights off, everything off, and then you get super immersed and you're just focused on what's in front of you. Just like movies. You turn off the lights and you just watch.
I will fall asleep if I turn the lights off of the movie.
Really?
Yeah. The only way I can do the only reason I do it in the movie theater is because like it's loud and there's other people around, like that'll keep me awake. If I'm watching a movie on my couch and I turn the lights off, I'm going to sleep.
Okay. Does anyone else do this? We got to set a poll on Twitter after this. Do you play with the lights on or off?
I hope people play with the lights on. You're gonna hurt your eyes.
I understand the games tell you to do that. Like they tell you to do that when you boot them up, But I feel like more people are in my camp.
Maybe. I'm interested to know. I think we could do a little poll under our podcast on like podcast services. So maybe I'll throw that up there. Interesting. I'm excited for the 4K update. I will note that it doesn't have HDR. So when I switch to a game, it's still going to flicker the screen to let me know HDR started. That's annoying. Yeah, it's annoying
so much.
But it is what it is. At least it has the 4K now, so it can look as good as my PlayStation 5 UI does. I mean, the layout on Xbox is better. The UI is better. But my PlayStation 5 definitely was prettier to look at. Like, booting it up, I was like, oh, it's a good shiny UI. All right, Tom. We're into the final story of the day. Story number 11. And partially our fun topic. Xbox has announced a 20th anniversary broadcast. Coming from Xbox Wire, Matt Booty has announced the Microsoft will hold a special Xbox 20th anniversary broadcast on November 15th. To set expectations, they've confirmed that no new games will be announced. It will be a special look at the 20 years of Xbox and look at upcoming releases. Along with this announcement, we got the announcement that Microsoft Flight Simulator Game of the Year Edition is coming November 18th. It is a free upgrade. We'll add more aircrafts, air races, airports, and more. Now, I care less about Microsoft Flight Simulator and more about the 20th anniversary. Obviously, they say no new game announcements, but that doesn't mean we can't get some, cool surprises, things that we already know announced, or maybe some old games. I know last week we talked about backwards compatibility making a comeback. I think that this would be the place to do it. What do you think?
No, I agree with that fully. I mean, and that with the whole, the weird tweet by Xbox Games Publishing about the Fable and the chicken. I don't know. To me, that's not a slip up. So I think us getting an old game but new is something that can give us and not lie to us technically. So I'm excited for the show. I mean, 20 years of Xbox, that's massive. Like being in the industry for that long, and like now they're just as old as like all of them. Like there's been no other new players for 20 years, by the way. That means in the console space.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Obviously been there since day one, so it makes me feel old. Like now I realize, like, oh my God, it's been 20 years of Xbox and I'm 28. Like where'd the time go? But I think that the old games coming back as new games is definitely the route they're going to go. If they're going to announce something, maybe some remasters of old games, FPS boost, backwards compatibility, certainly high on my list of things that I think will be there, should be there. I think, we'll see 360 titles. It'd be great. Here's my ideal thing. They announced a handful of original Xbox games, and 360 games that aren't currently backwards compatibility, coming to backwards compatibility. they announced that some of them are getting FPS boosted. So they figured that technology out because currently you can only do that with Xbox One games. That would be amazing. And the thing that would really cap it off for me is if they somehow made OG Xbox games achievements. Give me achievements in the old games. Like, that would be fantastic. Maybe this is where they announce the achievement revamp that I've heard people say that they're aware of the community's interest, in a platinum trophy-esque system. I would love if this is where they announced it. And then just a cool look back at the 20 years of Xbox, like the seminal titles, the big titles on Xbox, the original one, the big titles on the 360, be like, here's the games that made us the brand we are today. That would be sweet to look at. I would love that if that was what the stream was. I would go home happy.
Yeah, I mean, if they were going to remaster a Fable game and show it off during this event, which one would you want it to be?
I mean, one, I'm biased. Like, just give
even
me
though
one.
Even though they already gave us Anniversary.
Yeah, just give me it again. Give me it 4K.
God, I'd rather get Fable 2.
I don't like Fable 2. Like, I shouldn't say I don't like. It's fine. It's my least favorite Fable, and I know it's a controversial opinion, but like, I don't want Fable 3 because Fable 3 was on the 360. Like, I played it. It's fine. Like, it's not like that good. It's just fine. Fable 1 for me is like the perfect Fable game, and like one of my favorites of all time, especially if you give me the Lost Chapters, like the Anniversary. Just give me the Anniversary, but like update. You don't have to just optimize it for Series X and S somehow.
Yeah. They also, like, I would love to see Blink the Time Sweeping Cat. I know I always bring this one up, but you guys have to remaster this game with prettier graphics. You guys can keep the same exact gameplay, just reskin this shit, and I'll be fine with me.
Just do something to get rid of the giant black bars when I try to play it. That's all I want. Like,
so you would take the same game, just like, upscaled.
Yeah. I mean, just change the resolution somehow. Just get rid of the stupid bars. Give me 1080p for all I care. Like, that's all. I just want the bars gone. I will play Blinks the Time Sweeping Cat. I'm a sucker for animal protagonists, and he looks so cute and fun. And I've never gotten to experience his game. I missed out on him on the original Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you think they're gonna show at the event though? Like, I feel like they're showing off a new console, right? That's a Halo console. That's a Halo console.
I think we'll see Halo campaign.
You think we'll see Halo campaign? I think we'll see that too. I mean, they're gonna show, because it comes out in December. This event's November 15th, right? Something like that. So yeah, I can see them showing us that. I would like to see some of the games that also, like, you guys forgot about. Microsoft. Like, where the hell is Scorn?
Oh, that got delayed till 2022.
Still show us it, because I want to know what the hell's about.
I'd like them to focus just on first party stuff, to be honest.
But like, there's not a lot of first party stuff that they can show us as new games, unless they want to show us some Starfields, which, I mean, I'll be all for. I would love to see some Starfield content.
That would be awesome.
If you guys want to show me, we're only talking about games that are announced. I mean, Elder Scrolls, that would be a huge one.
No,
but honestly, this not on this show, regardless. But still, like, come on.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting for sure. I don't think anyone should be like, oh my God, they're going to show like all these crazy reveals and stuff. I do think it's going to be a more subdued event, more for the fans, with some cool announcements. So I will certainly be checking that out. I believe that's a Monday.
It is. I was just checking. I was like, does it line up with our podcast? Because we can just live stream this thing.
No, it's Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
That's lame. I'm working.
Yeah, I'll have to throw it on at work while I'm doing, while I'm working there, have it on the second screen, and then hopefully, maybe they'll announce something and all my coworkers can hear me get excited and be like, what is he chanting in his office for? But that's the show, guys. We did it in good time, an hour and a half, Tom. This is actually shorter than our last few podcasts.
Yeah, our last podcast was like 2 hours, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Both of them. We've been pushing it. We've been pushing it. We got through 11 news stories in an hour and 30 minutes. We had a lot of fun. and I hope everyone else agrees. But I think we're gonna head out. You good with that?
I'm good with that.
All right. Before we go, I do want to say God of War is coming to PC, so Game Pass, baby. Just that's a joke. It's definitely not coming to PC Game Pass. But make sure to like, share, subscribe to the video. Go over to Apple Podcasts, follow us over there. Leave us a 5-star rating if you want your review read live on the show at the start of every show. Tom, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at alpacatom. Also on my own personal YouTube, youtube.com/broken control.
And you can find me at the Muffin Mon. My name was on the screen for the majority of the show. It's a 1 instead of an I and an O instead of an A. But we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.